you know, and made my excuses. But that was me choosing to continue what was going on this weekend. And I choose now to let that stop. Maybe that finite amount of time of dwelling on the past lasted longer than it should have. But that time is over. And I've got to move forward. And so I'm trying to think of what all I need to do today. I have 3 things that I need to do. But because of how the buses run, I'm not sure if I can get them all done. And so I'm sort of torn between doing the 2 things that I want to do or the 2 things that I need to do, or trying to find a 3rd solution that I haven't come up with yet. I'm not entirely sure. I don't really want to get into details. But the weekend's over. It's Monday. It's time to move forward. Hashtag let's do this shit, right? But I had a really great visitation with my son on Saturday. We were supposed to meet at one Sonic location here in town, but when I got there, my stepdad asked me to get in the car, and he told me that he'd been watching this homeless man doing all sorts of weird and crazy shit, and I'm sitting there going, ooh, wow. Yeah, let's not do this here. Let's go to this other location that also has a playground, and we'll do it there. And so we said, okay. And so we drove off and went to this other location, which is actually technically closer to where I live, but I chose the first location because it's easier for me to get there, and it's sort of like a middle ground between where my parents live and where I live. And I chose that one because I know how to get there. I know how to get there efficiently and effectively and on time. And normally there are not crazy people hanging around there whenever I've been there. But, you know, maybe because it was Saturday. That's when the crazies come out. I don't know. But in any event, I had a really great visitation with him. We played a lot. It was really cute because there's this on the playground. There were a couple of slides. There's one in particular that kind of had a twisty, turny spiral, shape. And so my son would, climb onto the jungle gym, go to the top of the slide, and he'd say, "Okay, mommy, you stay there and you don't do anything." And I was like, "Okay." So he starts coming down, and I watch him go down, and he goes, "Wee," and I don't touch him or anything. And then he runs off and he says, "Okay, mommy, now you be a zombie." Goes up to the top of the slide, slides down, and then when he comes around that turn, I grab him and I go, "Brains!" And I started nibbling at his head and picking him up and swinging him around. And it was really sweet. And he's so smart. Oh my gosh, my son is so smart. After a while, I guess he got tired of the playground and he wanted to go sit down. And my stepdad had ordered drinks for us, which was very kind of him. And so he wanted to go sit down and drink his drink. And he says, "Mommy, you have games on your iPad, right?" And I said, "Yeah." And so I pull up my folder with all my games. And he wanted to play this specific game that I have called Roll the Ball, where you move these tiles around so that you have these like pipes line up so that this ball can go from one position to another. It's a really like logic game. And my 4-year-old son was doing this game that adults struggle with. And I mean, he played a few rounds of this and started getting frustrated because it was harder than he thought, and I tried to bump it down to like the lowest level, but I hadn't done that effectively, I guess. Because it's still pretty hard for him, but the fact that he was trying and that he was figuring it out, like, oh my gosh, I can't even believe how smart my kid is. I was telling all caps someone about that yesterday, and he's like, why can't you believe that your kid is that smart? Look how smart you are. And I was like, shut up. Just like blushing, because that always makes me feel good. Yeah, I'm kind of weird. I tend to get a little more bashful and, modest when people compliment my intelligence. It means more when people compliment my intelligence than when they compliment my appearance. Which is not to say that I don't appreciate somebody calling me pretty. Because everybody needs to be told that they're pretty. Male, female, whatever. Everybody needs to be told that they're pretty from time to time. That's just how it is. But, I feel more pride when somebody tells me how smart or funny or interesting I am than when they tell me how beautiful I am. So, yeah. Anyways, that's really all I have to say today. So, if you'd like to contact me anywhere on the internet, what you need to be looking for is PurpleBecca923. That's PurpleBecca 923. That is my username on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. And with regards to Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat, I always follow back. Unless and until you send me something inappropriate, in which case you will be dealt with accordingly. Just saying. PurpleBecca923 at gmail.com is the email address, and PurpleBecca923.com is the website. Yes. So until next time, remember, go out there, create what you deserve, believe that you deserve it, and create it. Move forward. Don't let the past chain you. And I'm saying that to myself just as much as I'm saying that to anybody else. And then once you have done that, you can fly with the penguins. Toodaloo!